Hello everybody, how are you doing? This is Mohammed Said and you are watching Elt Issues. And in this episode, we will talk about uh, one of the very interesting and really critical issues, which is developing the multilingual identity. So, have you ever been to a class, or have you ever been to a community, an English speaking community, and you find yourself not really comfortable using the language and engaging in all the parts of the language? I mean, do you really feel like you need to translate into your mother tongue before speaking? Do you really struggle while using the language? Are you fully engaged? Okay, and if you're fully engaged, can you really help your students to be fully engaged? This is what we're about to discover today. Today's episode is about developing the multilingual identity, particularly for pre-service teachers. And we will go through some of the studies. Some of them happen in England and others in Hungary, and we will discuss some of the issues. Let's go through it. So this study is written by Fisher and Morea in 2023, and the name of the study: Multilingual Teachers and Teachers of Multilinguals, Developing Pre-Service Teachers' Multilingual Identities During Teacher Education. So basically, Morea and Fisher, 2023, they actually argue that to achieve the multilingualism, all future teachers should be given opportunity to reflect and appreciate the multilingual repertoires during their initial training. So this is the importance of giving the teachers the chance to reflect and to express whether they do feel they are developing their multilingual identity or not. Okay, so what is the study exactly that they have done? Well, they had a group of pre-service teachers, okay, and they wanted them to express their identity before and after participating in an identity-oriented online intervention. So basically, the online intervention is like a course, okay? That's a 6-modular course that will target different parts about the multilingualism for the teachers and the impact that can happen in their classrooms. And then they asked the teachers to participate. They asked 37 primary and secondary pre-service teachers, but only 17 pre-service teachers participated in this intervention, and 20 didn't, okay? And they completed the questionnaire. After the intervention, pre-service teachers tended not only to consider themselves more multilingual, but also express a non-prescriptive view of multilingualism. So this will show us the importance of having a multilingual course in the institutions, the importance of having a multilingual identity intervention for the pre-service teachers, not only pre-service, but also for novice teachers and also for experienced teachers. It's quite interesting that this study was actually made in England for native speakers, and it's really interesting how they notice the importance of multilingualism. Imagine how important would it be like if you present such study for non-native English speaking teachers in different countries. Okay, let's go through some of the terms that they discussed in their study. They actually quoted Henry in 2016, where he said that there is a conflict that may arise as trainees negotiate their personal identities with an emerging and conflicting professional identity, a process of identity construction that continues over the course of teachers' careers. So basically, you as a teacher, you develop your identity as a teacher. You develop yourself. You as a speaker, as a multilingual. You could be speaking more than a language, and you actually thinking like, okay, am I improving? Am I developing? And do I have an impact of my native language over my second language, or my second language is having the impact on my first language? So this is actually quite interesting. And then they also quoted the definition of multilingualism and who is the multilingual. So they quoted Fisher in his book in 2020, which views that all learners engaged in the act of additional language learning in classroom context are multilinguals. So if you have any additional language learning in a class, then you are a multilingual. Then they mentioned a very interesting study case in Norway. This study case was made by Vikoy and Hokas in 2021. They found that the study was made for secondary school teachers in Norway. Okay, they noticed that the majority of the participants expressed that language is a problem orientation towards students' multilingualism. They focus on the challenges of teaching students with minority languages and to associate not being fluent in the dominant language with having learning needs. So they addressed the need to add a multilingual dimension into teacher training, teacher education programs. It's very important to have any multilingual dimension in every single teacher training programs. This recommendation seemed particularly relevant in light of recent research pointing. Why? Because there's a lack of self-confidence among the pre-service teachers. And this is what we mentioned before when we talked about the imposter syndrome among the non-ist. So you can imagine if they have these courses about developing the multilingual identity, they will be able to overcome this lack of confidence and to develop the character and personality that can have a great impact on their students. They also talked about their study, and they mentioned that it's important to equip future teachers with knowledge and awareness of multilingualism, to move away from monolingual paradigms and to create opportunities for all the students to explore and develop their linguistic repertoire. This study explores the pre-service teachers in relation to three sub-dimensions: experience, emotion, and evaluation. And they said that the experience refers to the exposure to language that a person has had in their lifetime. And of course, the once perceived linguistic identity. And the experience places emphasis on your interaction with the social world over time. They also referred to the emotion, which is the second dimension, the emotion that it represents, the affective element that has been traditionally neglected in much identity research. And they refer to Zempilas 2003, that there has been a neglect in that field of study for years. So what about the intervention that they had? Well, actually, the intervention that they had was an online intervention. It consists of 6 modules, and it requires only 10 hours to finish it. And it has some themes. So the first theme was, are you multilingual? And they had a video, who is multilingual, and an activity, and then another video, your linguistic repertoire, and then another activity. And then they have the second theme, which is your school multilingual? And then one video about the pupil perspective, and then activity 3, and then another video for the school perspective, and then activity 4, and then theme 3, which is your teaching multilingual? And then the first video, inclusive teaching for EAL pupils, English as an additional language, and then activity, and then another video for multilingual teaching for all pupils, and then another activity. So basically it focuses on multilingualism from different perspectives, the perspective of the teacher, of the pupil, of the school, of the whole teaching system. So from what we have discussed today, I would like to highlight the importance of developing the multilingual identity for the non-est and for the teachers. The multilingual identity could be developed in many ways. One of them is by having an intervention, by having an online or even face-to-face courses where the teachers will get the chance to reflect and express their progress. And also this will guide us to another point that's been mentioned, which is developing the inner voice of you as a teacher. It's like when you carry on speaking in one language, you will discover that you get used to hearing your voice in that language. And this will also get you some of this identity. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to talk to you today, and I hope you find this useful. Thank you very much.